Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a Lenovo ThinkPad L14. This is going to apply to the Gen 5 Intel series. I'm going to show you how to get inside and how to access many of its internal components. So first thing, power down your computer the correct way. Make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip your computer over to access your bottom case screws. Now, after you have removed all screws from the bottom case, you also have to remove the SIM card tray on the back of the laptop. Once that's done, we can start prying the bottom case off of the rest of the computer. It's best to use your small flat plastic pry tool and start in the rear near one of the two hinge assemblies. Pry the back edge off first, and then work your way down each side, along each side to pry those sides up. After that, you don't need to pry the bottom case off in the front. You just pick the bottom case up from the rear, slide it to the front, and it will come out from underneath these clips, and that way you can remove your bottom case. After removing your bottom case, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging things in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like any suggestions for tools or supplies for your project, as well as any upgrade or replacement parts for this exact model computer, the L14, there will be a link above, also below in the description. That will be a list of all those tools and supplies and replacement and upgrade parts for this model computer. Also, before I touch anything in a computer, I always remove or at least unplug my battery. Computers are safest to work on when as little power as possible is running through them. Your battery is right down here along the bottom of my screen. Most of you stock will have the 46.5 watt hour battery, but this is upgradable to a 57 watt hour battery if you want to do that. This is also an 11.31 volt battery, and there's a couple different part numbers you can find it under. I will have all that information below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement, but I will also try to include a replacement option below in that link I told you about with all the tools and replacement parts for this computer. It's held in by 3 screws, and it plugs into the motherboard here near the green arrow. Now, in order to get this out, try not to pull on wires or cables. This goes for any wires or cables in a computer. You can damage them, or sometimes if you pull too hard, they can come right out of the plug. So if at all possible, just put force on the plug itself. So you can wiggle it right out of this port on the motherboard by pulling it to the right out of that port. And I guess the last thing to mention about this kind of operation, if you are here because your laptop is not turning on, your battery could be bad and you may need to replace it. However, most laptop computers should still turn on and function with a bad battery as long as the charger is plugged in. So if your computer won't turn on even with the charger plugged in, there could be something else wrong. I will have a video tutorial link above and also below in the description. It'll show you the troubleshooting process to find out why a laptop is not turning on and how to fix it. Right here above the battery, there's a black guard. We can just peel that off. After we do, we reveal these 2 RAM ports side by side. Now, the maximum RAM in this computer is 64 gigabytes. You're looking at DDR5 RAM, 5600 megahertz in dual channel mode. I will have all that RAM information below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement or upgrades, but I will also include several replacement and upgrade options below in the description in that link I told you about with all the replacement and upgrade parts. I will include a single 16 gigabyte stick if you guys are looking to just put another one in the empty port, or if you're looking to replace a damaged one here and you're looking to keep the cost low. I will also include a 32 gigabyte kit, which would be 2 16 gigabyte sticks, one for each port. And I will also include a 64 gigabyte kit, which will be 2 32 gigabyte RAM sticks to max out this computer's RAM. The way that RAM works is it's held in by 2 spring-loaded arms on either side. To get the RAM out, you would gently pry those arms apart from each other, away from the RAM stick. The RAM will then release. Oftentimes it will pop up a little bit, and then you can pull it out in the center from this port right here. To get the RAM stick back in, if you look at your RAM stick, you'll notice there's a long part and a short part to that port. So you can't put it in upside down, you can only get it in the right way. And once you get it in nice and straight and flush, make sure the gold part is nice and even across here. Then you just press down in the center and these arms will latch onto it and hold it in place. And I guess the last thing to mention, if you guys are looking to upgrade or max out your RAM, you're probably aware that RAM is a large component to the speed or the performance of your computer. If you're looking to upgrade more things to get more speed, consider upgrading your storage device. Your single storage port is right here. This is an M.2 NVMe port. It takes 2280 Gen 4 solid state drives. I will have all that information below in the description if you need help finding a replacement or upgrade. But to make it easier, I will include a couple upgrades below in the description in that link I told you about with all the replacement and upgrade parts. I will include a 1 terabyte solid state drive in that list, as well as a 2 terabyte solid state drive. The way to operate this, there's a single screw here on the left. After undoing that screw, the solid state drive will release. You can then pull it to the left out of this port right here. There is a cooling pad underneath that solid state drive to help with heat transfer. Make sure that stays down. You don't want to remove that thinking that it's not needed. And I guess the last thing I can mention about this kind of an operation, if you are installing a new drive in your computer, you may need to install an operating system to it afterwards. If you need help with that, I will have 2 video links below in the description. One will show you how to install Windows 10. The other will show you how to install Windows 11. Also, if you are replacing a bad drive, you may still be able to recover your data from that bad drive. I will have more information about that below in the description as well. Okay, so now that the battery has been removed, we have gained access to our CMOS battery right here. This battery is just held down by double-sided tape. So if you're here to replace this battery, you can snap that off fairly easily. Again, it's just double-sided tape and it plugs into the motherboard right here. If you're here to reset BIOS, you don't need to necessarily take that battery up. You can leave it down. Just unplug it from the motherboard for 15-20 seconds. That should be sufficient to reset your BIOS system settings. Again, as with any cables, do not pull on the wire. This can come out of the plug. Just use your fingernails or a pry tool on the grips on either side of that plug to wiggle it out of that port. If you're here to replace the battery, I will have a replacement option below in the description in that link I told you about with all of this model's replacement and upgrade parts. And if you're here to reset BIOS, just one word of caution, this will usually only reset your BIOS system settings, not your BIOS password. A lot of people try to do this to reset the BIOS password, and in most cases, this operation will not do that. I will have more information on BIOS password resets below in the description. Then last thing to mention about this kind of operation, a BIOS reset like this is a common troubleshooting step if your computer is not turning on. If that's why you're here and you would like more help with that, there will be a video link below in the description. It will be the full troubleshooting process of a laptop that's not turning on, so you can find out what's wrong with it and how to fix it. You have this speaker here near the bottom right of my screen that is wired connected to this speaker on the bottom left of my screen. And that speaker goes through here and plugs into the motherboard right there. Now, speaker wires are a little more fragile even than the battery wire, so definitely don't pull on the wire if you're looking to unplug this. Just use your fingernails or a pry tool to get that out of that port. I will try to have some speaker replacement options below in that link I told you about with all of the replacement parts for this computer, but they can be hard to find for this model. If you're looking to take these out, these are not screwed down. You see these little rubber blue washers on these posts for sound insulation? That's all that's holding them down. So you can wiggle those right up if you're looking to take it off. Another word of caution, if you are replacing a component like this, make sure you run the wires exactly as it's seen here under all the threading. So pause the video or take a picture of your computer if the model's a little different. You don't want to run these wires outside of exactly how it's supposed to be run. They could get pinched when you put your bottom case back on. And I guess the last thing to mention about this kind of an operation, if you're having sound quality issues, if your audio is not consistent across different areas in your computer, it could be a system or driver issue. Your speakers could be okay. So in that case, try troubleshooting first. I will have a video link below in the description. It'll show you how to fully update Windows 10 or Windows 11, depending on which one you're using, so you can make sure that your system and drivers are all updated. Maybe you can fix your issue that way and not have to come in here for an invasive repair like this. You have your fan right here, separated by the heatsink over the CPU and the vent right there. The fan is held in by a screw here, here, and here, and it plugs into the motherboard right here. Now be very careful with that fan. Those cords are very fragile and they can easily come out of the plug. So definitely just use your fingernails or a pry tool in this case. If you need to get at your CPU, you'll have these 4 screws here. Now, one word of caution with getting at your CPU, if you have to disturb the thermal paste in a computer for any reason, when you take off your heatsink, you're going to separate that thermal paste. Some will stay on the heatsink, some will stay on the CPU. If you do that, you should reapply the thermal paste. Once you expose it to air and you separate it, its ability to do its job is going to be compromised. So if you would like help with that operation, I will have a video link above, also below in the description. It'll be a tutorial on how to fix an overheating computer. But one of the things it'll show you, in addition to how to clean out your fan and your vent, is it'll show you how to clean off all the old thermal paste from both the heatsink and the CPU area. You don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. And then it will also show you how to apply the correct amount of thermal paste. If you put too much down, you end up locking heat in rather than facilitating its transport out. So if you need help with that operation, I will have that below in the description. Right up here on the right corner of my screen, you see these 2 antenna wire, the blue and orange ones? That's for an optional WAN card. That's where you would install that. It would plug into this port and it would screw down here with this screw. As far as your Wi-Fi card, that's on the other side of the computer here, and that's actually soldered to the motherboard. So you can't actually replace or upgrade that because it's a part of the motherboard. You see the antenna wire coming down here. So unfortunately, that's not a replaceable part. If you were trying to access your LCD assembly, you would need to take out these antenna wire here, take out these antenna wire from that Wi-Fi card, unrun them through the fan. You don't want to damage them. We're going to take those out and then unscrew your 2 hinge assemblies. That will give you access to the LCD assembly in the back that you can take off. And I forgot the LCD cable right here. You want to remove that too. This clip right here, this black clip holding the LCD cable down, it's similar to this black clip here with your touchpad cable. These clips here with these ribbon cables, these are very fragile clips. You don't want to break them if you're releasing those ribbon cables. The way to operate them is you're going to take a small, very, very flat pry tool and slide it up from the ribbon cable end from this direction, slide it underneath that black clip, and gently pop it up. That black clip will open and shut like a book cover. It'll open from this side, and the hinges are on top. When you're doing that, again, be very careful. If you break that clip, you may not be able to find a replacement, which would mean the ribbon cable will never secure down properly again. So be very careful with that. And then if you're looking to take up your motherboard, you would obviously remove all of these components, unplug everything that you can see, and then do the rest of the screws on the motherboard. If you need help with your LCD assembly, most computer shops prefer to replace an entire LCD assembly. They don't like taking them apart. There's a chance they could break the LCD, but it is more expensive. So if you're DIYing this and you want to get into your LCD assembly and access your actual screen, I will have a video link tutorial below in the description. It will be a general tutorial, how to get into a laptop, get your LCD out. If that doesn't help enough and you need help with your specific model, just leave me a comment and I can help you get through it. But that's the end of this video, how to get inside the L14 Gen 5 and access many of its internal components. Thanks again so much for watching. Please remember to like and share if this helped you out, if you think it can help someone else out. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoy DIY computer content like this, or if you just want to keep me on hand to answer any of your future computer questions. I do try to answer all questions throughout my channel at least a couple times a day. Also, feel free to check out the related links section below in the description. From time to time, I do try to add things in there that I think will help you with your general computer life, make it more productive, more enjoyable. So thanks again for watching, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.